Hey everyone, welcome to another market update. Coming into the final quarter of 2023, things are looking very peculiar. I think most of you who are watching would agree. There was a lot of fear and doom with both the stock market, the interest rate, the Reserve Bank, USA, the war in Russia and Ukraine still going on, China, Kim Jong-un meeting Putin. There's so much stuff going on, and to be frank, I don't blame you if you just wanted to tune out from it all. By keeping up with all of these doom and gloom, everybody would be getting anxiety. I'm certainly getting some anxiety. So I feel you, but let's talk about important things in terms of what's happening with the trade.
Think global logistics.
Now, with all of these, let's just call it moving pieces, shifting sands on a macro level, it is very difficult for us common folk on the main street to actually understand how we are to proceed with planning for our business, how we are to proceed with any type of investment if there's any cash left over. Now, as long as people are employed, it will keep our economy somewhat still afloat, because let's face it, I've been saying this for the last few updates. The only thing that's keeping the entire world economy, well, maybe not Europe it's got its dark days at the moment, but US and Australia specifically has been our high levels of employment. Any downturn that we have seen is just people now needing to siphon some of those cash away to go to pay their mortgages or rising rents or the inflation that we've seen in food and fuel and all that sort of stuff, right? But generally speaking, we still have a little bit of gas left in the tank, pardon the pun. What have we seen from a logistics angle? This year started off quite weak, right? Because the softening of the demand and so forth started, back end of 2022. And this year we haven't really seen any uptick of any sort of demand. Over the last 2 years during COVID, we have historical highs, and the decline, or rather the crash, has been happening at a historical pace. And, I think in Australia, in terms of how low the rates got to, I wouldn't say historical lows, but it was near the lowest point that I have ever seen since being in this industry since 1997. Southeast Asia is probably the cheapest place in terms of ocean freight pricing. There are still well around about the $500 per 40 foot range. China right now, I think cost-wise, guys, to be real with you all, is gonna be anywhere between, depending on the port, between $1,000 to about $1,500 per 40 foot from anywhere in China to Australia. And for those viewers, when I talk about these numbers, it is specifically relating to Australia because we are in Australia. I do understand that the European markets and the American markets are not that different. They're all generally similar. So what has been the cause of why the rates out of China started ticking upwards? Well, there's a lot of reason for that. I think there's a lot to do with shipping lines, dry docking some of the vessels and blank sailing, causing a bit of, bottleneck, let's call it that. They've been playing this game since the dawn of time. Because there was no demand, a lot of our customers, they were overstocked, anticipating 2023 was going to be the 30 of the COVID highs, right? Well, that came to a crashing halt. We've all bought our stuff. Now we're spending money to go eating and dining and traveling and so forth, right? Consumer goods is suffering big time. But don't forget, a lot of these businesses are still seasonal. These businesses still need to trade. Just because you've got stock in your warehouse, it doesn't mean that stock is going to sustain you through your business cycles. So invariably, doesn't matter how much we sort of trying to reluctantly hold back on purchasing and so forth, we have to still go and buy things, still keep up with the seasons and try to do some trade. With all the importers holding back, now was the time they start acquiring some new stock and then filling that pipeline. And this is why we're seeing a slight uptick in demand. With that being said, the biggest question is how long will this last? In my opinion, I don't think it's going to last very long, okay? Because all the macro things I alluded to earlier still there, right? The stock market has been trailing sideways, now it's coming down a bit, There is so many moving pieces, and none of those pieces are pointing to a rosier outlook, unfortunately. A lot of economists are predicting 2024 will be the big recession that everybody's been anticipating and waiting for. And maybe 2025 will be a very challenging year for us all. So with all of these uncertainties and what have you, I don't blame the common day trader of goods to have no idea and how to plan and project forward. But one thing's for sure, commerce, like show business, the show must go on. And this is why it doesn't matter what happens, we need to trade, we need to create activity. And it's always going to be the most robust business who plans well in terms of their supply chain and logistics that gets ahead during these tough times. Just to wrap everything up, market is soft. Pricing in terms of what you pay for shipping price today is evidence of that softness. Air freight side of things has been relatively stable. Don't expect pricing on that front to have a roller coaster type of situation like we've seen with ocean freight. I had hoped I was able to bring you some rosier outlook. Unfortunately, there really isn't too many things that are to be rosy without being flippant. On that note, I think my personal advice to you all is to be in touch with the marketplace, to understand your products, to understand your competitors, and to understand how your products are selling and what your unique points of difference are. More than ever, this is what we're doing at TGL. We have to fall back on our fundamentals, understanding who we are, why we are here to begin with, what our points of difference were that we started this business. And those fundamentals will carry us through the tougher times. And I hope you have the same amount of fundamentals that can drive you home, especially during these uncertain times. And on that bombshell, thank you so much for watching. If anything happens that is surprising outside of my prediction today, I will bring you more updates as they come to hand. Thank you.